Take your mask off. Can't hear you.
Is that better? Okay, let's start again. Hello, and welcome to a Behind The Scribbles exclusive. I'm your host, Jeremy Quinton-Jones, and today we're going to be talking to Ron Radcliffe.
Oh, sorry, it's Rob.
What?
My name.
Okay then, let's start from the top again. Hi, and welcome to a Behind The Scribbles exclusive. I'm your host, Jeremy Quinton-Jones, and today we're talking to author Ron Rob.
Wait. Sorry, Jeremy. I'm not called Ron Rob. It's Radcliffe.
But you just said Rob. Well, what about Ron?
It's a very nice name, but it's not mine.
Does it matter?
It might. My books all having Rob Radcliffe written on them.
Whatever. Okay. From the top. Again. I don't know why I'm doing this. Hello, and welcome to Behind The Scribbles exclusive. I'm your host, Jeremy Quinton-Jones, and today we're going to be talking to author Rob Radcliffe about his Divine Chronicles trilogy. Hello, Ron.
It's Rob. Hi.
Now, readers are calling these books a truly entertaining read, hard to put down, and even great characters and great writing makes the book a real page turner.
Hey, sorry to interrupt again, Jeremy, but why do you keep doing this?
Quotations. I'm showing quotes.
Well, not really. When you're doing it like that, and wiggling your fingers, you're kind of doing it ironically and discounting whatever the reader said in the review.
Reviewers, hey? What do they know?
Aren't you a reviewer?
No, I'm a literary critique.
Critique?
So, let's start from the beginning. When did you start writing?
I started writing when I was about 8 or 9.
Really? I started learning to write when I began school. Oh, I jest. Oh. So, tell the viewers from Behind The Scribbles, what made you first decide to write?
Well, having started writing at such a late stage in life, apparently, I started fashioning little stories and making them into little exercise books, like little real books. And by the time I got to my mid-teens, I was reading loads, Jack Higgins thrillers mostly. And then I decided I'd have a go at writing them myself.
So, you were 15, a know-nothing kid, a narcissist essentially, and you thought you'd have a go in writing a novel.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd give it a try. I wrote my first novel, A Passionate Kill, and then the sequel, The Magician, and they were just basically Jack Higgins rip-offs, and not very good ones.
No, they weren't very good, were they? Because you hadn't trained. When I started writing my own novel, Petals of a Summer Flower, available in all good bookshops and not just online like yours, Ron, I had already completed my master's degree in novel writing from university. I had taken part in countless writing workshops. I really was finding my voice. And I'd started writing a column at the local newspaper.
Okay, cool. I didn't know you'd written a book. A fellow writer.
Indeed.
What was your book about?
Okay, if you really want to know.
Why not?
Petals of a Summer Flower is a satirical look on Thatcherite Britain and how the lives of the working man changed. It was reviewed by Albert Price, award-winning horse jockey, who said, and I quote, an interesting concept.
Okay. Any other reviews?
Just from online trolls. You know what they're like, reviewers who don't even understand the hard work you've put into your book. Disgusting.
Actually, no, I'm going to disagree with you there, Jeremy. My books have got pretty decent reviews on the whole, and my Divine series, which I imagined we'd be talking about instead of your flower book, has garnered nothing but praise.
Some readers prefer a simpler story, I guess. One that doesn't require them to think. A little tip, Ron. If you write tripe, expect a lower class of reader.
I certainly bear it in mind. I just like stories that come to me. I'm very blessed to have readers who enjoy those stories, and I wouldn't change them for the world.
So the Divine Chronicles, you've released the first 3 in one go.
Yes and no. The 3 books over that shoulder are the ones that I'm releasing, but I've also put in a short story called Reaper at the back of each book that they can sign up to for a little bit of an exclusive extra.
So that's 4 books, not 3, 4.
3 in a short story.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the series, your 4-book series? How long did it take you to write? I recall when I was writing Petal of a Summer's Flower, it took me 5 years from conception to final award-winning book.
What was the award for?
It was the Piccolo Goodreads Pick of the Day award. It cost me £500, but it's social proof you can always fall back on.
Piccolo Goodreads Award. That's brilliant. Great. Well, going back to my books, you know, the ones that we're supposed to be talking about in this interview. The first one, Guardian, took about 2 months to write. Second one, The Divine, took 5 years to write, but that was because I was writing other stuff in between. And the third one, Healer, took about 2 years, but that's also because I was writing stuff in between.
And the short story?
A week.
And you say, Ron, you have other books. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
But this is an interview about my upcoming trilogy in my Divine Chronicles series.
Oh, okay then. If you want to keep your other books hidden away for some reason.
No, it's not that. It's just that talking about another series in enough of a genre doesn't really help me promote the ones that I'm releasing right now.
Are you ashamed of your other books, Ron?
It's Rob. Oh, forget it.
What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything.
So your readers might want to know about your other books.
My readers do know about my other books. They're my readers. I decided to do this interview to try and push my latest offering out there.
So, you wrote another series.
Yeah, I did. I've 3 other separate series in the comedy satire genre.
Oh, a fellow satirist.
I prefer the term ladlit, but whatever you think.
But it's hard being funny. I should know. Petals of a Summer Flower was really a thinking comedian's playbook. How do you go about making sure your readers will laugh?
They don't need to laugh. I hope they're entertained, but comedy's so subjective. What I find funny, you might not, and vice versa. In my Divine Chronicles series, which is out now, I decided to take a step back from the funnies, and yeah, this is what I came up with.
Well, that is a risk.
How so, Jeremy?
You might alienate your readers.
Nah, I disagree. I write 3 or 4 books a year, alternating between genres to keep it fresh for me. And some of my readers like all my stuff, other ones like the divine stuff, other ones like the satire stuff. And that's fine. You know, I don't feel like I'm alienating my readers. I just write what I feel's what I want to write.
Interesting. So let's talk about your Divine Chronicles series.
Oh, can we? That'd be brilliant.
Of course, that's why we're here. Tell us in just one sentence.
So one sentence? One sentence?
One sentence. Tell us the basic premise of the series.
There are immortal men and women living in the world today that...
Well, they will be, won't they? Living still today, if they're immortal.
Well, in the first book, Guardian, Bertie, the protagonist, he works in a hospital, and as people die, he sees their spirits, in a sense, and takes them back to their favourite memory from life, where they get to spend eternity.
So, it's like The Sixth Sense, with that creepy kid figuring out what the ghosts need so they can pass on to the afterlife?
No, that's not what I said at all.
Okay, and this Barney...
Bertie.
What?
The character's name's Bertie, short for Robert.
Why not call him Rob or Bobby?
Because he's called Bertie.
But Bobby is more relatable. Good old Bobby.
But he's called Bertie.
Okay, your story. I'm just trying to impart some wisdom, but if you want to keep it Bertie, then so be it. So Bertie just happens to be working in a hospital and just happens to be able to see dead people.
Well, no, this isn't some coincidence. He built the hospital years ago, and he enjoys spending time with the dying.
To feed his fetish.
To give them hope. Fetish. To be there with them and to spend time with them at a time of their lives where they haven't got much time left and they're alone and scared. The families have deserted them. Not fetish.
I'll be honest with you, Ron. It doesn't sound very funny.
It's not supposed to be, Jeremy. This isn't one of my Ladlit books.
Oh, I thought...
Of course you did. Have you even read the books?
I flicked through. It's not that long, is it, this first one?
No, it's a novella, an introduction into the world. If readers like Guardian, then they might go on to read the Divine and Healer. And how have you even got any questions for me? If you haven't even read the trilogy, I've sent you them. What's going on?
I googled them.
Googled them. Yeah, you've got copies right in front of you, and you just Googled it. Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Yes. Now, going back to your books, in the second one, The Divine, you have 4 main characters.
Yeah, The Divine, you've got Sophie, William, Billy and Eric, and all their stories are interwoven through time. And I like to think it keeps the pacing going in the book, and it's a little different from your run-of-the-mill start to finish linear plot.
So you don't finish at the end?
Well, you'd know if you'd bothered to read them before this interview.
Indeed. But one thing that strikes me about all these novels, from what I've gathered, is all the characters are white.
Where did you come up with that assumption?
Well, in The Guardian, you have Barney, who lives in New York.
Oh, you mean New York, that's one of the most multicultural cities in the world?
And he's called Barney, short for Robert. Your words, not mine.
Okay.
And in Divine, Google said the characters live in Britain. Now, let me ask you, why aren't you writing more BAM characters?
Sorry, BAM?
Black and minorities.
Oh, you mean BAME? Well, in the third book, we've got a little Thai boy who's one of the 2 protagonists, but there's nowhere in any of the books that says the characters are actually white. It doesn't really come into the story or matter.
So, disregarding them completely. That's risky.
Maybe they're all BAME characters. It would literally make no difference to the story. Other than alter real-life history, as we've got a Warwickshire prince and a Scottish warrior who weren't BAME, neither were they pregnant, disabled, homosexual, trans women. Sorry, Jeremy, I think it might be your own prejudice which imagines all my characters white during your flicking through of the trilogy.
Well, there's a scene in the second book, Divine, which was quite frankly disturbing. The chapter when the character Sophie wakes up from a coma to discover a doctor is raping her. Do you not think that will really offend the coma community? Is this readership one you've completely disregarded also?
The coma community? I wasn't even aware that was a thing.
And you claim to have done your research. Perhaps not well enough.
I guess when coma patients are marching on Downing Street, livid because they were misrepresented in one of my books, then I'll have to address that. Until then, I think I'm safe.
Be careful, Ron. They can still hear you.
Who can?
The coma patients.
What coma patients? What are you talking about? My protagonist in the second book wakes up from a coma. Surely that's a positive message.
But she's being raped! Is that a positive message?
What? Obviously not. It's a traumatic time in my character's life, and it leads her to counter that action with an equally brutal action of her own. It's about the character. It's always about the character. It isn't about the coma community, if that is even a real thing.
So, on to the third book, Healer. Tell us about that.
Healer, number 3 in the series, is the story of Opinia and his great-grandfather Peter. It starts off on Dunkirk Beach, and Peter figures out he has the ability to heal people with his touch. And then 80 years later, his great-grandson Opinia discovers that he can draw life force from people with his own touch. Their stories are interconnected, and you get to see the protagonist from the second book, Divine, from an outsider's point of view.
And is there time travel in this one?
Well, technically there's time travel in all of them.
Do they use a car like in Back to the Future?
No, Jeremy, they don't.
Again, you missed a trick there. The DeLorean was cool.
Was it?
I thought about adding time travel into my book, Petals of a Summer Flower, you know.
No, I didn't know that. You mean the Thatcherite satire? Perhaps you missed the trick.
Perhaps. Anyway, let me just wrap this up by saying Petals of a Summer Flower is available in all good bookshops, as well, like Ron's Immortal thing, is available on Amazon. Okay, thanks for your time, Ron. See you next week.
Yeah, cheers, Jeremy. I guess I'll let people know that my Divine trilogy is now available to buy on Amazon. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, then you can go to www.robradcliffefiction.com. You can find me on Facebook. Come and say hi. It'd be great to chat to you. And I promise that I won't mention Summer Petal book. There'll be no talk of it there. Thank you very much. What the fuck was that?